think people always comes first. Get smart people who are smarter than me, empower them, not be afraid to delegate things. This is when you will become successful as the manager.
Empowering people as much as I can to do their job, and they understand that this is the part of the huge picture and the huge business idea, and they have the part of that.
They're not making money, they're burning money, but we know that the exit value will be tremendous in the end of the day.
You're building everything on your expertise and your experience. This is why people are leading by you.
If you're not on the right page, this will never work. I enjoy the journey more than the result. Be nice to people, work hard, do great things, and the money will come.
Dmitry, you have over 17 years of experience in iGaming and marketing roles. Could you please tell me more about your personal journey in iGaming and in marketing industry? How did you decide to go into that?
Yeah, just like less than a month ago, I turned 36, and I was kind of rethinking my whole journey, my life, and everything I've done so far. And I've just realized that I'm not like 17 years old as it's written in my profile, but I started iGaming when I was 17 and I turned 36. So it's more than half of my life I'm doing anything iGaming related. So yeah, I started as the online poker player because I played video games professionally, and I went to like a few big tournaments, even like I won some titles. And a lot of people from my niche, they started playing online poker. And since I was not a legal age, if I can say so, I borrowed my grandma's passport, registered account, and then this is how my journey started. But it was the online poker which kind of got me into it, and then it was the affiliation which started like my professional journey, because when I was a player, there was a bunch of websites like Poker Strategy or Poker News and even Poker Listings, which we've acquired last year, and it was a very interesting moment to kind of go back in time to one of the websites I was a fan of back in these days, which I run right now. So yeah, affiliation was the very first touch point, because I was always like thinking, okay, how these guys are making money. And when I understood that they just create the content, they push it, onto Google, then this content generates traffic, and then they generate FTDs, which then generates the money, I was like, okay, that sounds easy. So we started creating like small niche websites for the US market. Online poker, like Full Tilt Poker, Poker Stars were like our partners, and that was probably a moment which changed my life, because as the kid, I was born and raised in Belarus, which is not a very kind of luxurious country, and people, they try to find their way and how to make money. So for me, it was a life-changing experience, because when the first FTD hit our affiliate panel, we were shocked, because it was like a few $100 US, and we realized that, okay, if we do it on a proper scale, it's going to be an unbelievable journey for us, which is still an unbelievable journey. I'm very grateful to whatever happened in this 19 or something years now. I've never looked at it as the regret or something. I'm grateful, I'm blessed, and I try to give back as much as possible to the industry. I create a lot of content, I mentor people, I invest in companies. Sometimes I even help people and companies for free. So I'm a big fan of our industry, and I try to give back as much as possible.
Awesome, and really appreciate it. And what is the idea and the story behind Belianin Group? Because I can say that this is the main product for you right now, and this is the main attraction point for you.
Yeah, so the whole life I was like entrepreneur myself, like building companies, investing into companies. So the last 5 years I spent with Parimatch growing their international markets and helping with the international markets expansion. And when I left the company, I was thinking, okay, so what's next for me? And I just realized that I want to go back to where I was belong all these years, building companies, helping companies, and my mission on how to help the industry was perfectly aligned with what I'm doing right now, is identifying promising companies. Predominantly it's media, it's affiliation. Some of them, they're tech companies. I think throughout this year we've invested and helped more than 12 companies which are in our portfolio right now. And the way we've done it is like a mix of a managing group and the investment fund. Because with some of these companies, they're not really seeking for the investment, but they need help. And when it comes down to affiliation and media companies, usually this help is pretty much the same. Like how to make more business more efficient, how to enter new markets, how to secure better deals. For some of these guys, like I remember I was that guy myself when you're reaching out like FanDuel or DraftKings. You're some kid from Belarus and no one really pays attention. But if you make the right intro and you have the right connections, this is where they start listening. So it's like as I mentioned, it's a mix, and it's very hard to scale this business because it's very hands-on, it's very operationally involved, and I try to tackle it like as the project by project kind of a base, because when you start helping someone, it's probably like 1 or 2 months at least when you really need to understand the business, the people involved, their business model, and make a difference. So that's why it's barely scalable. We have around, I think, 12 people, 15 now, I think. So it's pretty much like legal, finance, some help with affiliation, with media, little things like this.
Awesome. And you mentioned about 12 companies that you invested in and that you help in like with operations and so on. And could you please clarify what specifically you're looking for in these companies which you invest in for? Is it people? Is it business idea? What the main thing that you're looking for?
Yeah, I think people always comes first, and this is probably the most important thing, because you don't want to spend time with people you don't like, essentially. So people, how visionary they are, how they are thinking about their business, especially in that moment, because sometimes you talk with people, they think, we've done it all, they're arrogant.
Everything.
Yeah. So this is not kind of people, you really want to be with. So people, number one. The second thing is the synergy, which, we can bring in as the group, and whether our expertise is really valuable for these guys or not. Because sometimes, like, I don't want to waste anyone's time. If there is nothing we can do, I'm going to tell it like that. So the synergy is probably the number 2 priority. The third one is the scaling possibilities, because I'm always looking at it from the 2 perspectives. So perspective 1 is fast wins scenario. What kind of stuff we can immediately bring in on the table, which will help the company to scale dramatically. I think one of the best cases we had was we've done 8x in terms of the revenue on one company in less than 6 months.
Awesome.
Yeah, and this is where we have like a certain checklist. It's quite similar. I slightly mentioned this before, but the second thing is the long-term vision, because a lot of affiliate companies nowadays, they are thinking, okay, I'm making money right now, but what is the end game?
Yeah.
Is there a way to get acquired? What we as the company need to have in order to get acquired? Who is the possible buyer? Because for many affiliate businesses, they don't think there is an end game, but there is an end game, especially with so many public companies around, like, Better Collective, Catena. They're always looking to acquire something. But me as someone who's looking at all these companies from the very, deep inside, none of them, they're ready for the proper due diligence, right? So it's impossible to verify the data they have, the markets they have. Sometimes it's like a pure crypto-driven business, and they don't have even like basic invoicing. So this is where, we come and play, and we help them to build like a long-term value-driven strategy where they either become like a self-sustainable business, which is still making a lot of money, but in the end of the day, it can be acquired by like a large public company.
I see. It raised the question in my head right now. So specifically, you had one group of people who are your employees when you were in Parimatch, let's say. Right now you have two group of people which you're interacting with. It's founder and business owner, CEOs, and your team internal in the Belianin Group. Could you please tell me what are your leadership principles and values that you're providing for three of this group? Because this is three different type of people who you're interacting with. Like, let's start from the employees, how you motivate them, how you working with them, and after that go to other groups.
Yeah. So on the company level, Belianin Group, we have a set of very universal, I call them generalists, kind of people who are not afraid to do the job beyond their function. So if you are like a commercial kind of sorry, not the commercial, if you are a finance and legal
Sorry
guy.
to interrupt you. It's so close to me, so I even got the goosebumps. Really.
Okay. So so for example, if you're like a chief legal, chief finance kind of a guy, but you see that the business we've invested in or helping is not doing something right, and you're just not like blindfolded, and you're not looking at it from the commercial point of view, you need to be involved, right? So all of the people we have on the group level, like my partner John, for example, he has a very strong media expertise, but it always means that he's looking into this project from like different angles. So this is thing number one, to get generalists on board. Second is the key people are driven by equity as well. So what it means that if the portfolio companies are doing a great job, means that you will be, getting part of the equity as the result of like the acquisition or the sale, something like that. So the equity part plays a crucial role. So they're not thinking about it as their job, but they're thinking about it like I own a piece of that company. So that's the thing number two.
It's shifting mindset.
Yes, completely. Because if you think about it, like right now, some of these companies we've invested in, okay, your equity might be like 10 grand or something like that. But if you think about the long-term value, like 5 years from now, this could be 100K, 200K, right? So some of the companies we've invested in, like Blask, for example, it's a pure long-term value play because, the guys, they're building like a very powerful AI engine, things like this. So they're not making money, they're burning money, but we know that the exit value will be tremendous in the end of the day. So the second thing is we are very goal-driven company. So the objectives are very clear to everyone. So if you are on the group level and you work with this company, you need to understand what the goals are, what is their roadmap, what are the key targets they need to achieve. So if it's not identified, if it's not clearly written, then we're doing a bad job. So this is something which I try to change this from every possible angle. On the group level, on the company's level, the objectives should be very clear, because if something after like 3 or 4 months is not achieved, then you need to be able to identify what was not achieved, what happened that we were not delivered the numbers we forecast,
what has to be changed to achieve that.
Yes. So there is one very interesting book, like a very big investor from our industry recommended to me, and when I was looking at that book, I thought, okay, this is very basic book, I don't know why do I need it, but I spent probably like 1 hour on the plane reading it. It's called 1 Minute Manager. The way it's written, I'm against it. Like I don't like the way the book is written, like the narrative. It's written like some story kind of a thing, but it has a very few powerful ideas, and the way this 1 Minute Manager is working with his employees is very remarkable. So it's always like clear goal, clear feedback, and always like delegating as much as possible. You need to empower people rather than micromanage them and control them. So this been like in my book since day one. Like, get smart people who are smarter than me, empower them, not be afraid to delegate things. And you mentioned Parimatch. At Parimatch, I had the smartest people of all of my life, right? Getting them on board, not being afraid that, okay, this guy who's the CMO now, he will take over my job. That's not how you should act, right? You need to help him to be the best possible CMO of all time, is better than you. This is when you will become successful as the manager.
That's awesome. That's always awesome to see the results that they achieve. I mean, a lot of people right now in the team of Evoplay, and let's say my commercial team is really huge, and right now I really want to congratulate them, and I really want to celebrate all of the wins that they make with them, because like you said, I always empowering people as well, as much as I can, to do the job and to do their job, and they understand that this is the part of the huge picture and the huge business idea, and they have the part of that. And if they will not do that, the whole picture will be broken. And this is the good.
I agree.
But what about CEOs and founders and business owners? How do you motivate them? How do you even communicate with them? Because it's a different type of people and different type of communication, I guess, because it's not your internal team. It's the project where you invested in.
Yeah. So that's a great question, because you cannot command. There is no scenario in which you should be ordering them, right? This should be a very cooperative, maybe even advisory-driven cooperation framework where you are overseeing and helping them to realize their value. So, for example, Max, who is the CEO of Blask, he's like one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life, and he's a very visionary, very hands-on kind of a guy. And if I will start suggesting him something in a manner where I insist on things, this will never work, right? So in case with him, I need to build like a very kind of advisory approach where I'm looking at things and saying my opinion in a way where it's not pushy at all. So I think all of the CEOs, either it's our portfolio companies or anyone else in the industry, they're very powerful leaders with their own vision, which you should not be interrupted, but you should be amplifying their vision and coming up with a set of ideas, and especially the management style, which will allow you to unfold their full potential. So this is how I build it. And there is no way, I can come to Alina, who is the CEO of Already Media, or Vitaly, who is the CEO of Traffic Squad, and tell them something to do. This will never work, right? They will send me somewhere. So I will just ask them to listen to what I'm saying. And in my case, some of the things I'm suggesting are either the things I've done in the past, or either the things I've seen somewhere in the industry. So they value my opinion, right? But if there is someone who is coming from like a pure advisory perspective without any proven track record, this might be a challenge. So I think this is where you need to build trust and credibility with these companies, CEOs, and this is where you need, as an expert, to be able to speak with the same language as these guys are, right? So in case of Blask, Max is the tech guy. So if you're not into all sort of tech things, this will never work, right? If you don't understand the marketing the same way of most of these affiliate companies do, especially the CEOs, they're like super into it. Like they understand all these like little nitty-gritties of the affiliate marketing. If you're not on the right page, this will never work. So in my case, I cannot go and, for example, invest in the game provider company. I have no clue about it, right? And there is no value I can bring on the table. So that's why the vision since day one was to find a right businesses which will create an enormous synergy with the group and the expertise we've got.
I mean, you're building everything on your expertise and your experience. This is why people are leading by you. Like that they follow you as a leader. It's a good point. I always have these two type of questions for people, because you're a really, really busy man. You have, like you said, 12 companies in a group. You have a podcast. You have like a lot of routine. You're attending a lot of conferences during the year, switching countries and so on. What helps you to stay motivated, to stay fresh, and to make the same, not the same, but maybe it's different type of routine every day? But what kept you motivated and help you to do everything that you're doing right now in your life?
That's a great question, and I think The number one secret is I enjoy the journey more than the result, right? So I don't care about the money.
The way of samurai, right?
Yeah. So I don't care about the money. I
Yeah.
don't care about, the achievements, right? I'm a very low-key kind of a guy, right? So I don't need a lot of money. I mean, obviously, if I will have them, that's great because, I can help my family, other families, and I can build wealth, which is great, but this is not the end goal, right? My mentor, Jeffrey Haas, he's like one of the greatest in this industry. He's been saying, be nice to people, work hard, do great things, and the money will come. I lived with this mantra for 7 years, and this is where the money they started coming as the outcome of who I am as the person and the way I treat people and I interact with people. So this is probably the most important thing. Number two is as you mentioned, routines. I'm a very a self-organized person. So I run my task management, my personal task management. It's very structured. It's very fragmented with a lot of small details. Like I need to read that. I need to answer that person. I need to do something. So it's very fragmented, and it gives me a very clear understanding of my day's schedule. I wake up in the morning. I see the full schedule. It gets into my head, and I know what to do. So this is thing number two. Thing number three, which was probably the eye opener for me, is the lifestyle change, which I've done almost like 200 days ago. So as an experiment, I thought, okay, I want to get rid of the alcohol. The plan was to do it for 90 days, which I've probably never done since I was like 17, 18 years old. Alcohol is just a part of your routine. It's always available, especially the conferences. You just go and it's so accessible. You just go and drink. I mean, I don't mind drinking, right? But I was like, okay, what if I not drink for 90 days? And I think around 70 something days, I was like, wow, the changes, especially in my mindset and my productivity, were insane.
Yes.
And this is where I was like, I don't want to go back. So I'm now like at 200 days plus, something around that. I've never been so productive. I've never been thinking that clearly. I mean, I can get away with like 5 to 6 hours of sleep, especially during the event, which I don't like, but I'm feeling tremendous. But at the same time I realized how powerful my thinking is. And if I'm on that journey, I want to be the best version of myself. I want to be the most relentless guy in this industry. I want to be the guy who gives no handicaps to no one. So that's what changed my mentality as well. And I'm waking up every day thinking, how do I become a better version of myself today? I don't want to be, the greatest guy in certain niche or something. If I'm 1% better today than I was yesterday, that's a great day. So that's the power of thinking. And I have this 1%. I'm setting up for me every single day. Every single day I have this 1%. So for example, my 1% for today is one little project we're building. I cannot disclose it for now, but my plan is to make this project 1% better today, which makes me 1% better human and the manager and the leader, because this is the most important project for us right now. So that's how my thinking goes.
Awesome. It sounds really attractive for me and really, close to me, to be honest, because I also the man of routine. I always have this 1 hour of silence in the day and 1 hour to be with myself in the day, just to take everything under control, let's say, in my head, specifically in my head. And always, like you said about notebook, when I just trying to put everything that are in my head right now, just not thinking about that in the evening before I will go to the bed, because I think that you have the same feeling when you're just laying on the bed and you have so many ideas, because you just can't go sleep. And you see 1 hour, 2 hours, and you're still thinking. But like you said, game changer for me was put everything on notebook, everything before you go to bed on notebook, and after that in the morning you will just come back to that.
And the same.
You're doing the same. Yeah, I can say that this is tradition in this podcast, that I have the last question for my guests. Could you please share any quotes or, I don't know, words from someone's that helped you to grow or changed your mindset in some way, whatever you can tell me, and how specifically it changed you or helped you?
Oh, that's a great question because I read a lot. Like I try to read at least 2 books per month.
Awesome.
That's my bare minimum, and the amount of articles or like industry reports I read, like probably tens of them every month. So it's very hard for me to identify like a single quote because a lot of them they influenced my life in a certain way. But if I could just go and say that okay, there's a category of quotes I'm getting inspired the most are coming from sports people.
Okay.
The business and sports, they're very similar from the competitive kind of a spirit perspective. Business is a very tough job, and you need to be like a businessman, aka the sportsman, which is training properly, who is getting like proper diet, getting like a proper mindset, proper preparation for that one race, where no one sees the preparation, no one sees the hard work. Everyone just sees how you're smashing it on the finish line, right? So the business is the same. It's about how many books you get putting into you, what kind of diet you have, what kind of people you're chatting with. So it's the same. So probably the biggest category of quotes are coming from sports. I'm a big fan of Muhammad Ali. I'm a big fan of Mike Tyson. I'm a big fan of combat sports. I recently saw one really cool quote by Mike Tyson where I don't remember exact quote, but the idea is, you see that I'm acting like as the savage, and you see me as the savage. Well, I am a savage, right? So that's something which kind of got into me very deeply, but from the business perspective, I always apply something on myself, right? So you see the hard work. You see the amount of effort I'm putting into everything, and you think I'm a savage. Yes, I am a savage.
That's awesome. Let's finish with that, I guess. And
Yeah.
thank you for joining me today and sharing these like fully brilliant ideas. And I wish you all the best with your journey.
Thanks for having me. It's been a great pleasure. Great questions. Great setup. Good job, guys.
Thanks.